back to my YouTube channel. If you've not watched my videos previously, my name is Frankie. Welcome to the channel. And today's video is going to be about my top 5 tips for recovery for an emergency cesarean. So before I get into anything, I apologise for the wet hair. I have just jumped out the shower. I want to get this vlog done. Eliza's having a nap and it is still the morning and I can't believe I've managed to have a shower, wash my hair, feed Eliza in the morning, managed to put her down for her morning nap and still being able to get on with this vlog. So for that, I give myself a massive pat on the back, but apologies to you guys because you've got to look at me with wet hair. Is what it is, isn't it? So anyway, getting back to the subject, today we're going to be talking about how I did certain things to help me recover with my emergency cesarean. Now you may be watching this video and you yourself have gone through an emergency cesarean recently, and if you have, congratulations on your new little one. And you might also be coming across this video if you've perhaps been planning your birth plan and you're preparing for every option. And if you are, then you're a lot more intelligent than I am, because I never once considered an emergency cesarean could be a possibility for my birth plan. And I wish I had, because I wish I'd come across videos like I'm doing today. So firstly, just to give you guys a bit of background, my recovery did take longer for a cesarean than normal people, because I have adhesions internally anyway. And for somebody to have new adhesions, and adhesions is scar tissue, so for somebody to cut into old scar tissue to create new scar tissue does make the recovery slightly longer. But saying that, all the things I'm going to talk to you guys about today have also been helpful for my friends that have had normal recoveries with cesareans. So I don't want you guys watching and thinking, oh my gosh, it took her that long to recover, because my case is slightly different. But you might be coming across this and you yourself might also have adhesions, and actually recovery did not take as long as the hospital preempted. So they did tell me my recovery would normally take between sort of 6 to 8 weeks. A normal cesarean, you're up and motivated between 3 to 4 weeks. I have to be honest, I think between 4 to 5 weeks and I was back up on my feet again. So a couple of weeks longer than a standard person. But I wanted to do this video today because I am really shocked by how many of my friends who have recently had babies the same time as me, and we have all, I have to be honest, all my friends, yeah, every single one that have had their baby within the last sort of 6 months before Eliza and 6 months after, have all had emergency cesareans. There was one friend who, her little boy is about 8 months older than Eliza. She's the only person who I know had a natural birth. The rest of us have all actually, and that's quite a strange statistic because it's not that high normally. But yeah, everyone I've known, we've all gone in for emergency cesareans. So I've had a few of my friends that have younger babies than myself ask me when they had just given birth, how did I cope? How long did the pain go on for? So yeah, I thought this video might be handy for you guys. So tip number 1 is to make sure you've got plenty of loose cotton clothing. That being loose cotton underwear and loose cotton, I would say loungewear, because you're not really going to be particularly going out and about in the early days of recovery from your cesarean. So for myself, I went into Primark and I had ridiculously sized knickers, oversized, so I would say 2 or 3 sizes bigger than I am normally. My mum bought just big cotton knickers. I think she also got some from Sainsbury's, the full briefs, so they don't rub on your scar. And also I just bought extra large like pyjamas. So my favourite ones were just, I think they were like size 22, and I'm normally a 16, like pyjamas, and then just t-shirts as well. So they were high-rised, so they didn't rub on the scar, but they were so big anyway that they were actually almost like you'd pull them up and down. And I'd rather that than something resting against my stomach. So make sure that you have plenty of underwear that's cotton, and I would say at least 3 to 4 lounge at home, cotton, breathable loungewears. Tip number 2 is to maintain taking your pain relief. I didn't do this because Eliza was in special care. So there were a couple of days, right, I would say second and third day after I had Eliza, where I was in special care and then my 4-hour window had overrun and the agony would suddenly kick in. So for me, I was on a course of paracetamol and ibuprofen and I alternated between the two. And just having that hour where the medication had completely worn off really caused me massive problems. So I would say make sure you definitely have them in your bag. If you do go out and about, make sure you have them all around the house. And I personally would stock up before you have baby and have them at home. If you are coming across this video while you're pregnant, make sure you have plenty of paracetamol and plenty of ibuprofen, because I would say 90% of hospitals, that is the pain relief that they tell you to take. And you don't want to be with a new baby running around trying to find a shop that stocks paracetamol, stocks ibuprofen. Just make sure you have plenty, because obviously you're taking 2 at a time every few hours. So I would say at least get 4 or 5 boxes per tablet, but obviously you can't purchase them in one hit. So you'll have to go to the shop every now and then and top up. Tip number 3 is to actually maintain taking your multivitamins. I didn't do this. I didn't bring my multivitamins with me to hospital and then got into the habit of just not taking them. And then my healthcare visitor brought it up in my recovery about a week after I had Eliza. And she said to me, your body needs all the vitamins in it to repair itself. And that from that day on, I went back onto just a normal multivitamin. I didn't pay for a fancy like postnatal one. I just took a normal average adult multivitamin a day. And I carried on taking like fresh fruit juice. Jake and I eat a lot of salads and vegetables anyway, but I introduced a bit more fruit into my diet. And I have to say, I think that's when my recovery did start picking up within the week. So make sure that you definitely take with you to hospital some multivitamins to continue taking, which is crazy because I was taking those up to the day I gave birth to Eliza. I made sure I had my multivitamins for her. So to have suddenly stopped just because I wasn't pregnant, you know, your body almost will crash, and you don't want to be doing that while you're recovering on a Caesarean. So definitely carry on multivitamins. Tip number 4 is to make sure that you have plenty of exercise but plenty of rest at the same time. It's finding that balance. So I would definitely say to make sure that you get up and about straight after any Caesarean procedure. I did myself. I got up and about because Eliza was in special care. I wanted to get to her as quick as possible. So I was showering within about 4 or 5 hours after having Eliza. And I also soaked, the nurse warned me to soak the pad that was covering the scar to get that off of me to allow my scar to breathe. Now, my friend who lives in a completely different borough to me, she never got told to remove that, and she rang me one day and said, do you think I should be taking off the bandage? And I said, yeah, to let your scar breathe. And her scar healed so much quicker the moment she took that off. But a quick tip is definitely to stand there with a shower head and probably hold it for about 10 minutes and let it go really heavy, soaked full of water, and you'll find out that it actually doesn't hurt when peeling the plaster off. But definitely make sure you rest at night. Make sure you prop yourself with cushions and make yourself feel comfortable, because your recovery time in bed with rest needs to be substantial for your body to keep healing itself. So yeah, definitely during the day, don't take it mad. Don't go on massive hikes down the road. Don't even really take baby out particularly, but get yourself up and moving around the house. There was one day where I was just shattered. I'd been up all night with Eliza. She was probably about 6 days old. And I crashed on the sofa all day. And did I feel the pain for it? So I would definitely say keep yourself moving during the day. And then, yeah, get yourself really comfortable at night. And tip number 5 is along the same sort of lines, and that is definitely to make sure you don't end up having a house full of people at the beginning. So for myself, we actually got home a week after Eliza was born because she was in special care, and instantly we were inundated with so many lovely messages from people, but so many people wanting to come to visit. And a few of our friends that had previously had children did say to us, be a bit selfish with your time in the early days and say no. So Jake very much abided by that. So when people were contacting him to say, oh, can we come round and see Eliza? He would sort of say, oh, you know, this week we want Frankie to focus on recovering, but maybe we'll get in touch with you in a week's time. And I definitely think just having that week to 10 days at home, just you two. I'm not saying not having immediate family pop in. You know, my mum popped in, my sisters popped in, Jake's family live abroad, so they actually didn't come till Eliza was about 3 weeks old. But I'm not saying don't have immediate family, but definitely, you know, we introduced Eliza to our friends. I think Eliza was about 3.5 weeks to 4 weeks old, and having that time at home together, just being able to crash. And if you're uncomfortable and you want to strip off in your living room, because it does happen, you know, you don't want visitors round. And we did have a couple of people just randomly, sporadically turn up. And for me, I have to be honest, I really struggled with that in the first week. So I think we had 2 or 3 people, you know, they were coming with good intentions. They were excited to meet Eliza, wanted to drop a present, and because it was unexpected, my hormones were all up and down anyway, and I just really felt the pressure that I had to be looking a certain way. I had to, you know, be dressed appropriately, and I'm not going to lie, I had to run into my bedroom where they'd be knocking at the door and then try and get myself dressed. And you know, if you're watching this knowing someone's recovering from emergency cesarean, this is the sort of thing, you know, you really got to think about, because it's hard to bend down, it's hard to get dressed. You know, your hormones are everywhere, you feel crap anyway, and you don't want to be feeling like you've got to try and, you know, jazz yourself up a little bit for somebody to come. So yeah, I would definitely say try and set the boundaries there, that you will be in touch with people to come and visit baby, and just take that time out so you're comfortable around the house. You know, there were times where I did just walk around in my underwear because my scar was so sore. And yeah, you don't want people in the house when that happens. So those are my top 5 tips. I hope they help somebody out there. If you did like this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel. There is the little subscribe box down below that you can click on. It's free to subscribe. There's no charges. YouTube is free. And also don't forget to click the little bell below as well. That will notify you of when I load my videos, which is 3 times a week. And thank you again for all your support, and take care. Bye.